Welcome to Streaming News Network, where we deliver balanced reporting with the facts that matter. This edition is hosted by Claude McDaniel. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel and this is Streaming News Network. We begin with our first report. Mexico's Sinaloa Governor Ruben Rocha Moya has abruptly stepped down, just one day after returning to office, as he faces drug trafficking allegations in the United States and an extradition request. The 77-year-old governor had taken leave in May while Mexican authorities investigated allegations against him. On Friday, he announced that he was returning to his duties, insisting he had committed no crime and was returning with a clear conscience. But less than 24 hours later, Rocha asked Sinaloa's state legislature to approve an indefinite temporary leave lasting more than 30 days. His return had also drawn criticism from Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, who warned that personal interests must never come before the interests of Mexico and its people. Sheinbaum added that power without principles can become arrogance, while power without limits can become abuse. This is Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network, delivering the latest news with unbiased analysis. This is Streaming News Network. Kyle Kirkwood has made racing history by winning the Freedom 250 Grand Prix in Washington, D.C., the first major motor race held around the National Mall and some of the nation's most recognizable landmarks. The Florida native drove his number 27 Sam's Club Honda to a victory of just over 3 seconds against Christian Lundgaard, who finished second in his number 7 Aero McLaren Chevrolet. Kirkwood's victory capped a strong showing for Andretti Global, which placed 3 drivers among the top 4 finishers. Despite the relatively narrow final margin, Kirkwood controlled much of the race and at one point built a lead of more than 15 seconds. A late caution brought the field back together and created a dramatic restart on the temporary 7-turn, 1.7-mile street circuit. The race covered 147 laps and 250 miles through the nation's capital. This is Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network, delivering the latest news with unbiased analysis. This is Streaming News Network. President Donald Trump says significant progress is being made on a major ballroom and military complex being developed on the grounds of the White House. In a statement, Trump described the project as a long-sought addition that presidents have wanted for generations. He also said the development would provide what he characterized as greater national security for the White House and Washington, D.C. Trump claims construction is currently ahead of schedule and under budget. He also says the entire project will be financed without taxpayer money, with private American donors and companies covering the cost. The proposed ballroom and related facilities are expected to add significant new space for major White House events and other official functions. This is Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network. This is Streaming News Network. I'm Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. President Donald Trump is once again targeting former Army officer Alexander Vindman, criticizing him following his reported election defeat. In a statement, Trump described Vindman in highly personal and disparaging terms and accused him of lying about a phone conversation Trump had with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Trump was referring to Vindman's role in the first impeachment inquiry against him, which centered in part on the president's July 2019 call with Zelensky. Trump continues to maintain that the conversation was appropriate and says records of the call supported his position. He also repeated his claim that the impeachment effort against him was politically motivated and unsuccessful. Trump went further, saying Vindman should be prosecuted for his actions. The comments come as Trump continues to revisit the political battles surrounding his first presidency and his dealings with Ukraine. This is Streaming News Network. Fueling workers at San Antonio International Airport have ended union representation after union officials withdrew rather than face a decertification election. The employees work for Allied Aviation Fueling Company and had been represented by District 142 of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. Earlier this month, employee Matthew Garwood led a petition seeking a vote to remove the union. A majority of the workers signed, exceeding the 30% threshold required for the National Labor Relations Board to schedule a decertification election. Instead of proceeding to a vote, union officials formally withdrew their claim to represent the workers. As a result, approximately 38 airport fueling employees are now free to negotiate directly with their employer. The worker situation also involved a dispute over whether Federal Railway Labor Act provisions applied to them, potentially overriding certain protections under Texas right-to-work laws. Supporters of the decertification effort say the workers have regained control over their workplace, while union officials did not proceed with defending their representation claim. This is Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network, delivering the latest news with unbiased analysis. This is Streaming News Network. At least 30 people have been killed in Guinea after a massive garbage landfill collapsed onto nearby homes, burying victims beneath tons of waste. The disaster occurred at the Dar es Salaam landfill in Conakry, the capital of the West African nation. Officials say 6 people were seriously injured, several homes were destroyed, and emergency crews launched a search for anyone who may still be trapped. Heavy rainfall reportedly swept across the landfill overnight, adding to already dangerous conditions. The weight of the accumulated waste also caused a nearby 3-story structure to collapse. Authorities had reportedly planned to close the landfill because of safety concerns. Residents living near the site had also received eviction notices and were urged to leave. However, many people remained in the area when the landfill gave way. Officials are continuing rescue and recovery operations as the full extent of the disaster is assessed. This is Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network. This is Streaming News Network. Russia and Ukraine are trading increasingly intense long-range attacks, after Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that Ukraine had opened what he called a Pandora's box by targeting sites inside Russia. Putin said Ukraine was attempting to damage the Russian economy and warned that Moscow would respond by striking what he described as sensitive areas of Ukraine's economy. His comments came after a Russian strike on a busy shopping center in Kryvyi Rih killed 16 people and injured approximately 140 others, according to Ukrainian officials. Ukraine has increasingly used long-range drones against Russian oil facilities, warehouses and other economic targets. Russia has responded with heavier missile and drone attacks across Ukraine. Moscow says its strikes are focused on energy, defense and port infrastructure, while Ukrainian officials accuse Russia of causing civilian casualties and destruction. Ukraine's military said Russia launched 127 drones overnight, with most intercepted but 27 reaching their targets. Ukraine also reported strikes against Russian facilities in Crimea, including military repair sites and warehouses. The conflict continues to escalate as both sides expand their use of long-range weapons. This is Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network, delivering the latest news with unbiased analysis. This is Streaming News Network. 2 small earthquakes were reported in western North Carolina over the weekend, with witnesses reporting weak shaking. The first earthquake occurred near Canton at approximately 7:30 Saturday morning. A second quake struck just before 8 o'clock Sunday morning near Weaverville, about 26 miles northeast of Canton. Both earthquakes measured 2.0 magnitude. The Canton earthquake originated nearly 4 miles underground, while the Weaverville quake was centered just over 2 miles below the surface. Although earthquakes of this size are generally weak, at least one person reported feeling shaking approximately 135 miles away in Lexington, South Carolina. Experts say earthquakes measuring 2.5 magnitude or less are typically difficult for people to feel, while stronger earthquakes can produce increasingly widespread shaking and damage. Western North Carolina is considered a relatively stable earthquake region because it sits within the North American tectonic plate rather than along major active fault lines. However, the Appalachian region contains ancient faults that can occasionally shift under pressure within the tectonic plate. I'm Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network. This is Streaming News Network. Actress Shelley Fabares, best known for her roles on The Donna Reed Show and One Day at a Time, has died at the age of 82. Fabares died Sunday in Los Angeles surrounded by family and loved ones. Her family has not released a cause of death. Born in Santa Monica in 1944, Fabares began acting when she was just 3 years old. She became a household name playing Mary Stone on The Donna Reed Show from 1958 through 1963. She later appeared alongside Elvis Presley in 3 films and also found success as a recording artist with her hit song, Johnny Angel. In the 1970s, Fabares returned to television, eventually joining One Day at a Time as Francine Webster. She later gained widespread recognition as Christine Armstrong on the sitcom Coach, earning 2 Primetime Emmy nominations during the show's 9-season run. Fabares was also an advocate for Alzheimer's disease research after caring for her mother. She is survived by her husband, actor Mike Farrell, and their daughter, Erin. I am Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. Thank you for watching and staying informed.
Thank you for viewing Streaming News Network videos, and also short and special reports. Please like, subscribe, and tap the bell to be notified of additional reports.